Hello, everyone. Welcome to DVS's IIB Spotlight series, a series where we are highlighting some of the amazingly talented early career folks who made the shortlist in the last Information is Beautiful Awards. My name is Cedric Larry, and I'm the Early Career Director. Today, I'm super excited to be joined by our last speaker, Ha Thanh Thu Nguyen. Dawn is an information designer whose work lives at the crossroads of data and design, poetry and aesthetics. She curates images, shapes, and words to tell stories about you, me, and us, aiming to spark understanding and ideally move both minds and hearts. Today, you'll hear about her unique artistic way of using a tool we all know and love, but have probably never thought to use quite like this. Tan, thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your information design journey.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for introducing me, Cedric. So I'm Tan. I'm living and working in Berlin, and I started my master's project, which I will introduce today, a year ago at the University of the Arts about information design. So the project that I'm introducing, Atelierdatasheet, who got also recognized by being shortlisted at the IIB award, was a long process actually, because I have been working on this project for like 21 months, so almost like 2 years. So I will bring a lot of digital products. I will show you the end results, but then I also had the chance to exhibit it in at the university, which is great because then I could see people interact with my project and really get into conversations about it actually, because I got a lot of reactions to it. I got also the chance to introduce this at the Digital service here in Berlin. So it was it's a public stakeholder here in Berlin. And I'm really excited for today because I think that is the first time I'm introducing it to a more international public. And I'm great. I'm excited actually for this interview and to have this chance. And let's start.
Awesome. So why don't you go ahead and share your screen?
Okay, I will share my screen. Do you see it?
Yes, I see. Welcome to my presentation.
Okay, so welcome to my presentation. As Cedric introduced me, my name is Ha Thanh Thu Nguyen, and I did the whole presentation on Google Sheets, which is also the very first time I'm doing it. I'm excited to show you around. So first of all, I want you to introduce you to the IIB Awards, the Information is Beautiful Awards in 2024, where I also submitted my work, and which is why I'm also speaking today. So I had fun in making this little visualization, which is a bit interactive. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. So in total, it was 1,159 submissions, which was shortened to the long list, like 931 being in the long list. And then it's only 89 in the short list, which my project is also in. And finally, the 27th winner. So it was very interesting for me to see the numbers, because I never submitted my work to like an award, and I was like new in this information design and dataverse bubble, and I thought, why not submitting it without even knowing so much about it. I can recommend you to check out the submissions. They are like all such great work, and I had the chance to go to Miami and talk with the people who work on the projects, and it was an amazing experience. So let me introduce you to me. And So yeah, as you heard, my name is Ha Thanh Thu Nguyen, and it's actually Vietnamese, so it's like Ha Thanh Thu Nguyen. But you can also call me just Tan. And I live and work in Berlin. And yeah, I also have the privilege to be born here in Berlin. So I never really left the city, staying in my hometown. But as Berlin is changing a lot, I quite enjoy it here. I'm working for City Lab Berlin, which is an innovation lab for digitalization in Berlin. Yeah, where I'm employed since like beginning of this year. But I also do freelance projects on top of it. For example, for Cyber Policy House, which is like a yeah, collaborative collective of freelancers and service designers and cyber policy facilitators to make this topic more fun and enjoyable. So we produce yeah, workshop materials which are more engaging and fun. Shortly about my background, I completed my bachelor's degrees in communication and social and economic context in Berlin at the University of the Arts. And afterwards, I started to work as a marketing manager for a while. But I found out that it was not giving me this purpose and meaning, which was a reason why I started my master's. And when I discovered this program, which is called Visual Communication and Information Design, also at the University of the Arts here in Berlin, I thought, wow, why haven't I discovered it earlier? Because it was combining like two really enjoyable fields for me, which is design, but also designing complex ideas and topics. So I really want to read in and do the research. So in pursuing this master's, I've learned so much, and yeah, I quite enjoyed it. So my project Atelierdatasheet is in total, I think, 13 sheets of visualization, which I designed almost exclusively with Google Sheets. So you can see here all of them. I mean, I did a few more, but these are the final sheets which got into my final projects. I will explain them in detail later, but so you can understand what we are talking about today. So first of all, I want to give you a little bit of context in this project and also in this master's program, because it shaped this project a lot. So the master's program Visual Communication, I did 2022 to 2024 at the information design class of Professor David Skopek. And at that time, there were 2 other students starting with me. So we were just 3 of us starting at the same time, but there were multiple people and students within the class. And what makes this program very special is the Visual Society program, which is a collaboration between the University of the Arts Berlin and the Social Science Center, also here in Berlin, the VZB, like the WZB. And the program is it's interesting because you as a designer can collaborate with scientists, and there were like a matching event where we met, we get to know each other and introduces our interests, and the scientists were introducing them and their research, and we had like a match. So we could really choose our favorite topics and find out who we want to work with. So I met with Professor Anna Skapelis, who is working as a social science professor in New York right now. And I was really happy to work with her. She was mentoring my projects the whole time, even though she moved to New York. so which was a bit hard, because of the distance. But even so, she went to my exhibition twice, and so I'm very grateful to have met with Anna. And if you're interested in this information design class, you can visit the website, check it out, because I think it's a absolutely nice idea to have this interdisciplinary approach of you as a design student really focusing on the design, and the researchers and the research groups can share the knowledge and their papers with you and the data. So in total, I said it before, the project was it was running like 21 months, beginning with a matching event in January, February. There was like a planning phase, to get to know each other, to organize yourself, and to find out the style of working from another. And I also got some research papers from Anna to read through. We had a few brainstorming sessions to think about the ideas and the end projects. And I find it so enjoyable because we had similar ideas and vision. I remember times where we had so many ideas for this project, like designing a game. And I was also like going to like a game design workshop. So the research phase was quite long. Also because since Anna was going to New York, this project turned out to be a more individual project, but she kept being my mentor, who I could ask and for advice. My exploration and ideation phase, to find out, okay, what is the final project I want to hand in this master's program. And if you have ever done your studies, you know how much pressure it is. And I was thinking from designing a game to like an app to a website to like doing a print book. I was never really satisfied with these ideas because I thought this topic of facial recognition technology, which is the topic of my project, it's so fast paced. So within my research, I have noticed how fast this technology is really developed, and all this political, context was changing a lot. The AI Act was coming out. So I thought as soon as I'm doing my research and produce my design, it will be outdated almost immediately. So I was not really satisfied with these ideas. So I kept around like, sketching things, bringing up new ideas, and then talk with a lot of people about it. And I got really frustrated, actually, to be honest. I was so frustrated because it was like in July 2024, I had to submit my work, and my final idea I got like in May or in June, like just 2 months before. So I got a lot of pressure with myself, but then I was so happy that I found this unusual idea of using Google Sheets to design, which is also a tool which I knew before. I was using it every day almost. I was structuring and organizing my whole private life with Google Sheets. And so that idea was quite new, but the tool was not new. So that's why it was possible for me to make a project like this in such a short amount of time. And then I had also the enjoyable moment to exhibit it. So how do you begin with having this idea to design Google Sheets? So if you ever have worked with it, you know how it looks like. It's boring. So in case you hate it, I guess the trigger warning comes a little bit late, but Google Sheets is not everyone's favorite. I don't think it's anyone's favorite, but it's actually my favorite. So I started with this idea, okay, how to make this actually more beautiful. And if you change the sizes of the columns and the row, you have this kind of sheet. So it's actually little squares, which can be also seen as little pixels. And if you color the table lines white, it's disappearing and it becomes like a white canvas. So I started to do the first sketches, like how can I draw within this. So these were a few of my first, exploration of using the numbers and to color the cells, and how can I use the table lines in a way that you can also visualize depth and how the objects are overlapping. And I was trying to find also like a certain style which looks better than, the average dashboards. So these were some of my tries, but I guess I wanted to have like certain criteria. So I came up with a concept. Let me show you. So Google Sheets has different features. You can do diagrams, you have conditional formatting, data validation, you have the function. Oh, I wrote data validation twice. It should not be it. You have the drawing function, and then you can also insert images. So I told myself what I want to do is diagrams. I want to do conditional formatting, data validation, and the function. But what I don't want to do, so I also wanted to limit myself with not using the drawing function and the images. I wanted to really work within these little sheets and don't put photos or graphs in it. The idea was to limit myself to the very essential one, which is almost only Google Sheets. And the aim of the project was to do it or like design these sheets in an aesthetic way. And I wanted to use the character of the spreadsheets as well, which is the interactiveness. You can really scroll through the endless sheets of data, which I like. Also that it's able to filter the data. But I also wanted to do the physicalization of this project. So I didn't want to do a project just within these sheets, but I also wanted to bring it alive by printing them, by thinking of how to exhibit it. So people can have more fun and interact with them. So in a way, I wanted to create something that is more fun. And then I have created different methods. I don't think at the beginning I was aware of these different methods. I just, started to create and find a way how the spreadsheets can look good. And by the end of this project, reflecting on it, I realized I have found certain methods to visualize them. So I have a set of spreadsheets where I use the diagram function. So it's a feature inside of Google Sheets already where where you have the data basically, and out of this data you can automatically create those visualization which are also interactive. So in case I filter the data here by the buttons, the image of the visualization is also changing. But this is something where I thought it's quite basic. This is not something new, even though I designed all of them in a way that it's printable in so you can export every sheet of them and print them in a way that it still looks good. So I developed different methods as well. So another method was to do it completely manually. So starting to draw within the cells using conditional formatting. I can show you, but basically it's drawing numbers, but wait, you cannot see it right now. yeah, here. So I basically type in the numbers in the cells and they will color it immediately. So this is how I draw. Okay, let me delete it. There are sheets where I use mixed methods. So, but I will talk about it later in detail. What was a milestone for me was to find a way to visualize photos within these cells without importing the images. So I use processing to calculate the numbers of each picture and found a way how to visualize them. So I would talk about it later. And then I also have two of these spreadsheets, which can be also used in an interactive way because I made a guessing game out of it. So yeah, let's come back to the photos. So I will explain to you the methods I'm using. I started with a normal picture, which is actually quite big. And I only use like Photoshop to, changes the size of this image. As you can see, it's very pixelated. Actually, I think in comparison to this one, it's very, very small. And as I said, I was using processing to calculate the numbers within these cells and use conditional formatting to color the cells. And this is an experimentation of how many colors do I want to visualize in this picture. So you can see here is just two colors or like two contrasts. Here are three. And then if I scroll it, you can see even more details. And so on. Yeah, and then you have here with 20 different shades of black and gray and white, you can really see the similarity to the original picture. So this is my sheet. If I scroll in, you can see the little numbers, and if I erase them, I guess it's gone. Yeah, let me erase the I for you. So this was the beginning of the idea. I really like it because it's not an image, it's just numbers, it's just cells and numbers. Let me show you something. If I change the function here, I change the colors. This is a conditional formatting, as I said. So the only information the spreadsheet has are these numbers. And with the numbers and this conditional formatting, I can say, okay, from the minimal value of the numbers to the darkest one, please color the cells for me. So these pictures were actually not a lot of work, but to think of this method took a little bit of time. So that was a black and white picture, and now let me show you a colored picture, because in the computer vision, like how computer reads images, are completely different as our human perception. So you have to understand that computers will read these pixels, and every pixel has information and values. And a black and white picture has different information within these cells than a colored one, because colored pixel consists of 3 different values. So it's RGB. So I did the same, but add another layer to it, which is the RGB. And in this case, I colored the yellow one in blue and green, just out, aesthetic reasons. But yeah, I like this approach because the cells become even smaller. And this was one of my posters where, if I put it from afar, you can already see, wait, this is containing out of a lot of small things. And as you come closer, you're like seeing the numbers. And I remember at the exhibition, people were like coming closer, like, whoa, what the fuck? That must be a lot of work. So yeah, with these posters, I wanted to explain, here what computers see in a photo. I have a little text to it to shortly explain what are the difference. I also have the sources I use and the tools. And so these two are actually visualizing, let's say qualitative data and not quantitative data about facial recognition technology. So yeah, I mentioned it before only shortly, but my whole project was about facial recognition technology. So I created also like a cheat sheet about it. What is facial recognition technology? How does it work? What is biometric data? What distinguishes facial image data? And what are the main issues of facial recognition technology? And this is a sheet which I almost, I actually drew these images by just coloring them. It's I think for me it was really nice to have this cheat sheet because I was reading so many texts, and to understand this topic I created this. And then I have this spreadsheet which is visualizing a map, but this map is consisting out of little pixels as well. So this is not my idea. I got this tip from a mentor of mine, and she was sending me this YouTube video from John Nelson, who was talking on data and design in episode 24 about data and maps. So if you are interested in how to visualize such pixelated maps in data visualization, then I can highly recommend you to visit the YouTube page. So what can you see here? I have a legend, which is from the darkest to the lightest color. And it's a study trying to find out which countries are using facial recognition technology in an invasive kind of way, and which country in a less invasive kind of way. So it's really like a country comparison. I guess with this map, it's hard for people who are not good in geography like me, which countries are being seen. But it's still, I think, an interesting way because you can clearly see, okay, obviously it's China and Russia. But it was an interesting approach because for this one, it took me the most time. Just because the data you see, like the whole spreadsheet is containing out of I don't remember, I think almost 500,000 cells. Yeah, you have to imagine like every little, these ones are numbers. And when I had this, I had to find an idea how to visualize a map without having them manually draw within it. But it took me such a long time, and but it worked out. So yeah, I had fun with this one. So this one I posted on social media, so maybe you have seen it before. I call it the moment when the performance of AI systems surpasses that of human. So you can see here the red line, which is standing for the human performance. And then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different line graphs who stands for handwriting recognition, speech recognition, image recognition, reading comprehension, language understanding, and predictive reasoning. And in this research, they have tested out in which year, like when was the time where computers started to really become better. And since my topic was about facial recognition, I highlighted this image recognition. So based on this research findings, in 2018, computers started to getting better than humans in recognizing people. So yeah, that was also very interesting. And this is actually also like a spreadsheet where I use different kind of methods. I mix match methods here. I started to visualize this in Google Diagrams. Maybe let me show you. Oh no, wait. Oh, this is another video actually. Yeah, I wanted to show you this video before, how the process looks like. So I forgot about it. So now I'm showing you this. It's a very short one, so but you can get the idea how this spreadsheet was made. Okay, coming to another one. I think from the aesthetic point of view, I think I like this one of the most. So this is also one which I almost draw completely by hand, like manually. But I have to think of a way how to visualize it. So this one has a lot of drafts before. So what it visualizes is the private investments in AI from 2018 and 2019. So in this study, they have mapped 47 different kind of topics. For example, one is autonomous driving, the second one is drug cancer therapy, and the third one is facial recognition. So I thought of seeing this as the whole thing as 100%. So that's why it's in a square. But I had to, separate the amount of cells in a way that, it keeps being seen as like part of one big thing. But then you should also be able to see the different proportions of the investments. So I have calculated that so one cell, like one of these cells, equals 0.01%. So I, for example, calculated for the 47 here. Oh, so this one has no cluster. So 46 is quantum computer technologies. This is 46. So I calculated how many cells this has to have to visualize 0.28%. So I calculated them, and then I calculated how many cells I have to draw, and I basically, draw manually with the numbers. And I highlighted this part, which is in facial recognition technology. Let's go to the next. So this is a very funny spreadsheet because you can see actually faces of my friends. Yeah, so I told you before I wanted to also create some spreadsheets who are able to be used in an interactive way. And so I found a study which was which had findings about the human's ability to recognize familiar faces, because it's so, as I told you before, the study in 2008, it was saying, okay, computer is now getting better than human, but this finding I found very interesting because it says that humans are still better in recognizing faces if you know the faces, so you know the identity before, like it's people you know, with the criteria that if the images are being changed, for example, it's pixelated, as you can see here, it's very pixelated. It's like this on purpose. Or if it's like, cropped or like stretched. No, if the image is being changed like this, I or friends or people who know these people should be still able to recognize them. So in that way, we are still better than human. Because as I explained before, computers read images in a different way, so they would be not able to recognize them. With a disclaimer, this is the finding a year ago, so maybe it has changed. But this is funny because I created these cells in a way that you can guess their names. So here you can guess the name of this person, and let's say I put Thomas. It's answering. Your answer is not correct. Please try again. Yeah, so I know it's my friend Sebastian. Your answer is correct. Yeah, so I had fun with these ones because with knowing and exhibiting it at the University of the Arts, Rundgang, which is quite happening here in Berlin, I found the idea very funny to have some faces shown who are known by other people as well. And what is also funny for me and for my friends, I guess, not for you too much, but I have some Easter eggs inside, because if I open the formula, you can see, okay, if I say Sebastian, it's correct. But also he has some short names and some versions of his name, like if I put Zebu, Zebibibu. Yeah, it's well played. Leave or Paula or Kaya, haha. Okay, so this is just an insider, so maybe not so funny for you, but I wanted to show you otherwise. So, okay, let's move to this one. So with the opposite finding, people are really, really, really bad in recognizing faces which are not familiar to them. And this is critical because a lot of times facial recognition, or like people are being used as being asked for recognizing faces from certain criminals they try to find. So the typical situation is you have a photo on the left of the person which is wanted, and then you have a certain data set, which are the 10 people on the right, and you have to recognize them, and people are really, really bad at it. So if you want to, I will make a little pause. Wait. Yeah. So you can try to find this face inside of these ones. It's not so easy, and it's not because this images is pixelated. As I told you before, humans should be better in recognizing people if they know them. So even if the pictures are pixelated like this, people should still be able to recognize them if they know them. But if not, it's really hard. So yeah, if you have a guess, I think it's number 9 actually. No, so I put number 9 here. Oh wait, it's not correct. Wait, I remembered it incorrectly. Wait, now I'm fooling myself. So wait, is it number 3? I think. Yeah, it's number 3. Damn it. Okay, wait. So I'm bad, even though I should know it. Okay, let's move to another one. So the next spreadsheet is also drawn manually. So this spreadsheet is trying to find a way to visualize the different sizes of facial recognition data sets. So you can imagine AI is being trained by data sets which contains millions of images and videos. But there are also data sets which contain quite a few, just 600 images. You can see it here. So you can see here 1 pixels equals 600 images and videos. And I wanted to have like a comparison from the smallest one I could find to the biggest one, which is web face 2060 million. And with Google Sheets, it's quite interesting because you can see now I can, like, it starts from here, and then maybe I can move my mouse to the right so you can see how much I have to actually scroll to reach the end. It's really, really, really long. And this project was the most interesting one when I printed them out because it's 16 pages long. Yeah, so I will show you a photo afterwards, but yeah, and with the last spreadsheet, I also got to the limit of Google Sheets. So if you haven't known it, the maximum of numbers of cells you can fill and create are 10 million. Now you know. What else? Okay, so yeah, as I said before, I wanted to bring these data sheets also alive in a documentation, in like a book. It's 200 pages long because I printed the data sheets completely also into this book, and I also made it in a way where you have like a poster folded in the back with like a little USB stick, because in the end it's also like a project with digital data, and I wanted to create really like a book as an archive. And the thing is, why it was not enough, because the cells have to be a certain size to be able to see the numbers. So I thought, yeah, why not printing them as a poster, which I fold inside, because inside the book you cannot really see all of the sizes of the cells. And yeah, here you can see some of the pictures before my presentation, and you can see here from the last one, it's 16 pages long, it's even longer. And I have exhibited it and could observe people, interact with them. And I have the computer here, so you can really try yourself out with the guessing game, but you can also see the printed posters. I even have got a little magnifying glass to see, you know, through the cells. And yeah, I really enjoyed watching people who are interested in these projects. And I also have created these risoprints, and some of them were also, some of the supporters I had bought it. Yeah, and I had like a really enjoyable moment in talking about it, and also have the chance now to talk about it. Yeah, so in that moment, I want to thank all the mentors who supported me. Either it's Professor David Skopek, who really had trust in me and just let me do my stuff. I guess some other professor would have been crazy if I haven't shown them the final idea of my master's projects 2 months before, but somehow he was like saying things like, yeah, Tan, you will do it. And of course, Anna Scapelis, who tried to support me from afar and who even went to my exhibition twice. And so Robin Conan, who was also mentoring me, and Nina Bender, who also gave me the tip with the map, and Professor Klaus Gasseyer as well. And of course, all my co-students who were there for me, listened to my frustration moments, who helped me in building my exhibition, and who I could ask before this master's program, who helped me by answering my questions. And I really was so happy to be part of this students group. And also a special thanks to my friend Lina Nguyen, who was giving me this idea of designing in spreadsheets, which become a project which I absolutely love. I think it's a project which is really showing me and what I like, and yeah, the spreadsheets, and also I got to develop some things that I enjoy myself. Yeah, and everyone who also show interest, and also you who listen to me today, even though it's Friday, almost 6 here in Berlin. So thank you for that. And that was my presentation, Atelierdatasheet. And you can follow me on the socials. And if you have any questions about the sources or anything else, yeah, let me know. That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Don. That was such just, I'm still processing. I'm probably even processing slower than your Google Sheets. This was absolutely such a creative and artistic approach. And I want to invite people to share their questions in the chat. I'm even going to highlight a couple of very fun questions that people have already shared. But I will say Ryan in the chat did get number 3 correct. So he did guess correct. So props to him. But yeah, we could just jump into the Q&A. And, you know, I will, let's see, who do I start with? So maybe just a couple of comments by Martha. Martha, love your work, Thon. Really inspiring. I'll connect. Oh, this is more of a personal note. But hopefully you get a chance to connect with Martha. We have a question from Kayla. And they're saying, this is so cool. Did the research show if the level of familiarity people have with the subject in the image makes a difference, i.e. an acquaintance or friend?
Yeah, I think people enjoyed it in such a way where I really had fun with it. You know, I think as a designer and in general, if you're an artist, or if, I mean, you don't even have to be an artist. If you do a project which are there and people are enjoying it, that's so much for me already. And yeah, they can recognize themselves. So that was really easy for them. They saw it immediately. And I also haven't told them before. I only said, I have a little surprise at the final presentation, but I didn't really say it. And they immediately recognized themselves, even though the pictures were like very pixelated. So yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, that also makes me think to myself, like how people love to see themselves represented in the data. Like this is like a very explicit example, but I've seen other instances of people being able to interact more because the data is about them. Okay, so moving on to the next question by Caroline. Caroline says, can the color of cell numbers also be formatted conditionally? Did you consider doing this so the numbers would be the same color as the cell and thus disappear? Or do you have a preference for the number being visible?
Oh, I actually did both. So a lot of times you could not see the numbers, but they were inside the cells. So yeah, you had the same idea as I did. Thank you for your question.
Awesome. Okay, people, please share your questions in the chat. I actually have like a couple of questions myself that I shared with you or talked to you a little bit about, but I'm wondering how time intensive would you say this particular approach is? Because you just designed a whole presentation in Google Sheets and, you know, using your method, like really. So I'm really curious as to, you know, you also pushed it to its limit as well.
I think as soon as I have developed certain methods, which I can, because I know them by heart right now. So the presentation I did for today, I just started it yesterday, I think. So it was quite relatively fast. I did a few hours. So I think if you know the tool and you know the formula by heart and you don't have to research a lot, then it's quite fast. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
But then it really depends on what you want to do. And I think I also in this process, I got so much better myself because I'm still also, I don't know all of the formulas, and I still have to Google a lot of things, or there are a lot of formulas which I forgot and have to re-Googling again. But yeah, it really depends on which spreadsheet. But I think I'm pretty fast now.
Yeah, it also reminds me of some of the like spreadsheet warriors I see on like TikTok that, you know, show you all these cool features. So I think you being able to do it this quickly because you're so skilled at it now is also very impressive. It also reminds me of this one question I have, which is your project in many ways reimagines how we use a very standard tool. What are your thoughts on finding new and creative ways to breathe life into familiar tools for data visualization? So we've seen a lot of like Tableau and, you know, different Adobe suite, you know, tools. But I think what's interesting about you is you're taking a tool that everybody uses and just painting essentially onto it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on reimagining standard tools.
Um, so I love the idea because I think all of us are using tools, but I don't think we all know them really by heart, like every edges and every button and every function. Because I also have used, for example, the Adobe Clouds programs, but I always have the feeling I don't really know everything of it. And I like the idea of studying the tools in an intensive way so you can really get the maximum out of it. But we live in times where things are developing so fast, there are more updates coming and there are new tools coming in, and then there's this political this whole political reasons why you maybe should not use this tool or another one, and then there's this whole AI things, and I think this is the more challenging, let's say, thing in learning tools, because I think you also have to adapt quickly. Because as I did my projects, of course, I also had critical voices about the tool I was using, which I can also understand because of privacy reasons, for example. And I mean, I was nevertheless using it out of the practical reason, out of the time limit I got in the end. But I like, in an ideal world, I think I have studied a few tools and I know every corner of it instead of having, let's say, 10 tools. But I think that's not how our world is built around. So you have to adapt, and me too. So maybe one day I have to say goodbye to this one. So, and I think Microsoft Excel is also a bit different, but not so much. But still, I haven't had the chance to try it. So it's just a personal things and your habit. Yeah. What do you think about it? Are you having your favorite tools, and do you have this feeling of the features, or do you think they are always a part of the tool which you don't understand?
Yeah, I think maybe not so much the tool, but the use of data in my current day to day, handling very private information and being able to publish visualizations about groups of people. It's so important to be very mindful of like the ethical considerations. And I'm learning a lot more now in my newest position about it, even public information and how you visualize that. So it's an ongoing conversation. For reference, I'm more of an R person myself.
Ah. Mhm.
Yeah. But also in the comments, I think we answered CM's question, but they asked basically your preference for Google Sheets versus, you know, Excel. So I think you answered that. Unless you want to expand more upon it. I just wanted to make sure, CM, we saw your comment.
Yeah, I think what I like about it, it's the idea of being able to work on it in a collective way. Like you can share it with someone and you can work on it at the same time, which is amazing. So I didn't do that in my project. But as I said, it was just a habit because I was using it before I was familiar with it. But yeah, maybe I will look into Excel as well one day.
Yeah. Let's see. We have another question from Ryan. So I love that you paint with numbers. What was the most difficult creative challenge you faced developing this?
Oh, I think the most difficult one is to find an aesthetic way to have all the spreadsheet looking familiar. Like I wanted to create like a design concept which is consistent and visually pleasing. And because I was using different method, I have to find a way which where they still look from the same hand. And I think that was really hard because I produced so many other styles and spreadsheets where I think they are not aesthetically pleasing at all. So I think that was hard to find a way which is consistent.
Awesome. Okay, I think we have time for one more. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm debating about which question I want to ask, but I really wanted to ask you about this because you actually did exhibit this, and I want to hear more of your perspective on this. So our last question, in case there might be one more after this, but during the IIB awards season, there was a discussion about data visualization evolving towards creating more immersive data experiences. As someone who has watched audiences interact with your work firsthand, what's your take on that shift? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking if it's only for data, or if in general we live in a world where we want to be immersed by media, any media, if it's entertainment or educational books. I think because we are overloaded by information online, that our brain is not able to access information anymore if it's not in an engaging and more fun approach. And especially for data, which is just numbers. And I myself, I don't consider myself a numbers person. That's why I'm at the art school. I was at the art school. So yeah, numbers are so abstract. And I guess this is the main task for like data designers is what kind of information I want to tell, what kind of storytelling I want to tell. Like it's not about the numbers itself, it's just like a tool being used to tell something, to have a message speaking out. So I guess that's why it's it's an important task because let's be honest, spreadsheet alone are so fucking boring and numbers as well. I think like life is the physical life, even though our world becomes more digital, there will be also like development of people who always wanted to have analog mediums and interact and engage with them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Don. Like, very thoughtful insights that I hope everyone will enjoy. Well, that is the end of our session. I've kept you here long enough, so let's wrap this up for everyone. So thank you, Don, once again for this unique presentation. We hope to hear from you in the future, and I'm sure we will.
And
We'll
thank
make sure.
you, Cedric, and all the participants from DVS. I'm very glad to have such an engaging community supporting early careers. And I'm so happy to talk to you. Let's stay connected.
Yes, yes, we will. So I just want to also say, like, running this series was so enriching because we got to hear from 4 different speakers across 4 different countries and continents. Almost as interesting as the diversity of our speakers was the diversity of the data viz approaches. I've learned a lot in listening to everyone, and DVS will continue to platform diverse voices across the globe. Thank you everyone for coming. Please make sure you connect with Don. Let me see if I can flash that banner one more time so everybody can see it. And if you missed any of the talks, you guys can catch them on our YouTube channel. And they'll be in the IIBA Spotlight series playlist. And I also want to remind everyone to keep up with our events following our DVS Eventbrite page. So everyone, thank you for coming. We hope you'll continue to follow along. Take care. And that is the end. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.